Like and subscribe right now, or the spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. If a friend residing in Zimbabwe tells you about a killer mermaid terrorizing the country, would you still be motivated to visit the area? Many of us would believe the story without much argument after reading about the two boys that drowned in the water. There are other real-life encounters to make you change your mind about the existence of these strange beings. In this video, we'll answer whether or not mermaids exist in Zimbabwe and beyond. Many African countries believe in mermaids, but some others don't. Skeptics say our ancestors deliberately crafted these stories to scare us or make us more careful around water. The Zimbabweans who witnessed this incident think otherwise about these sea creatures. One case points to an occurrence with 3 young boys herding cattle near a dam. They saw something that looked like a giant fish and wanted to dive into the water to have a closer look. Luckily, only 2 got into the water, while the other stood by the banks to watch over them and the cattle. When he saw that something had fought and injured his friends before bringing them back to land, he was scared and rushed to the village to call their parents. Luckily, the boys were alive when the adults arrived. Before they could get or rescue them, the mermaid appeared the second time, took them deep into the water, and drowned them. The adults who saw what happened swore it was a real mermaid. They were helpless and couldn't rescue the boys until it was too late. Days before this sad event, a young boy told his mother that he'd seen a woman near the dam. He described her as having the body of a fish and the face of a human, but his mother didn't believe him. The next day, he went to the dam to confirm what he'd seen. Some say the mermaid may have attacked him for exposing her secrets. Here's another case of people being too careful around pools because a mermaid might be around the corner. This area looks like a deserted place, probably because stories have been told of strange creatures emerging from the water and disappearing with humans. It's only recently that visitors summon the courage to visit this pool. Even at that, it's still lonely. Everyone understands that their lives are at risk when they visit. Regardless, you still find courageous people like this man swimming in the pool. He implored others to join him, but this doesn't seem like a piece of good advice. They'll rather watch him do the rock slide alone, while being on guard should a mermaid emerge from the water. It was fun watching him, but I can guess his viewers were scared that their excitement might turn to sadness if certain precautions weren't taken. Most mermaid pools like this one have restrictions for visitors because they're believed to pose healing powers. Therefore, when they're abused, they might lose their potency. Some years ago, construction workers were forced to abandon building new reservoirs in Zimbabwe after encountering a mermaid. The government minister said the workers were spooked by the appearance of the mythical creature and fled for their lives. They vowed never to return to the site. Reports say there have been similar sightings across construction sites in the country. To make matters worse, the chief of that community confirmed the incident and affirmed that the culprit was a mermaid. He believed a water spirit caused the deaths, and they had performed some rituals to calm them down. It's believed that these mermaids are trying to rid the country of all its good citizens. These mysterious creatures may not appear anytime soon until they have actualized their goals. Unfortunately for the mermaids, a man called John Masao rose to fight them after a voice appeared to him in the dream, asking him to pray. After this encounter, he found a new movement that ditched the Bible and advocated a spirit-filled Babylonian ecstasy. When he died, his congregation broke into several sects with millions of adherents. One of the clerics took some of his congregants on a wild mermaid chase one morning. The team gathered at around 4 a.m. with strict instructions to chase any force that stopped them from praying. He believed that some unusual forces were inhabiting the dam and must leave. Today, people from Zimbabwe and beyond visit the dam on a pilgrimage. As if the prayers around the dam weren't enough, this prophet led 3 other members into the pool from the dam wall. He held clay pots, and the shards were to be placed in the parts of the pool where the mermaid is believed to be hiding. As they entered the lake, they met with the mermaid. The mythical creature was said to have pinched the prophet's legs. When the man gained consciousness, he raised the alarm, telling other men they needed to return. The prophet came out of the water and asked the congregants to pray for the men inside. Even hours after the men got into the water, the villagers couldn't find them. They understood that there was no way people would stay underwater for that long and still be alive. By then, the prophet had left the scene, but the villagers approached him sooner than later, asking to take them back to the pool, where they could chant prayers to facilitate the return to the men. At this point, one woman famously known as Amunduver, known to be possessed by a mermaid spirit, was called to help retrieve the men. She waded into the water, but suddenly emerged, saying the task was daunting. She affirmed that things were bad down there and couldn't continue. Seeing that there was nothing they could do, the villagers had no option but to call the aqua police. The first try yielded nothing, but the second one had him emerge with a lifeless man. He managed to lay him on a blanket spread out at the dam wall. While many Christian denominations have sought to pray against mermaids, others believe they're essential to our ecosystem. One of such adherents is Justice Manyanga. He believes in the role these creatures play and how they've made him become the man he is today. The recent convert said he has spent quality time on the other side of the world and knows what happens there. Around his community, Mr. Manyanga is known as one man who survived being seized by mermaids and a student under their tutelage. He claims that mermaids taught him to become the traditional healer he is today. While he lived with them, he acted like them and ate what they ate. As funny as his claims are, many Zimbabweans have similar beliefs. They say these creatures were created for a purpose and are fulfilling it. African cultures have portrayed the idea of mermaids in several ways. However, there are central features across these variations. These creatures aim to seduce, intrigue, and enchant humanity. They're often shrouded in attraction, mystery, and retribution. Most eyewitnesses describe them as beautiful women with flowing black hair and an angelic gaze that is used to capture the mind of their specter. These spirits are notorious for tricking, kidnapping, or deceiving fishermen. This video has special interests in mermaids in Africa, particularly in Zimbabwe. One wonders if there are mermaids in Europe too. The answer is yes, but they're not interested in seducing mortals like their African counterparts. She's half human and half fish, and uses her voice to lure unsuspecting victims. The European version of mermaids wields so much power on humans. This version appears only in physical form, and not in dreams. The first known stories of mermaids appeared in ancient Assyria, where goddess Atargatis transformed herself into a mermaid out of shame for accidentally killing her love. Some of the modern features of these creatures were influenced by Greek mythology. Historical accounts of mermaids like those told by Christopher Columbus during his exploration of the Caribbean are similar to the kinds we see today. While there's no scientific evidence to prove the existence of mermaids outside folklore, reports of their sightings have continued to flood the internet, especially in Israel and Zimbabwe. Even the police believe that something about these stories is true, but they're scared to investigate it because they fear it might attack them. The silence from the authorities doesn't stop the disappearances, kidnappings. We wish someone braces up and gets to the depth of Zimbabwean waters to investigate the causes of these strange sightings. That way, we can find a lasting solution to everything happening in Zimbabwe and beyond. Thanks for watching. Until next time, adios.